It's one of those days. I came out with an idea of what I was going to film for the channel just now. I made my way downwind, having a little bit of a play and a practice, and the wind dropped on me. So let's make a plan B, as you have to do a lot of the time, let's be honest, with windsurfing. I'm now going to make my way upwind, non-planing, on some smallish kit. Smallish. This is a 103 freestyle wave code from starboard and a 5-meter spy freestyle wave all-roundy sort of sail from 0.7. Great fun when the wind's in. Pretty okay to make my way back upwind just now. This is what I'm doing. Now, as a bit of a checklist for learning most skills, the rudiments, the fundamentals, or the fast-forward formula of windsurfing is what I'm going to refer to. From the top down, vision. I'm looking at the wind, I'm looking for the wind, I'm looking for the gusts and lulls. That's not just my head, that's my shoulders, my hips, and my leading foot are all looking over that leading shoulder for the wind. But not just for the wind, that affects everything else that's going on. As soon as my vision starts to go towards my feet, my hands somewhere down here, or even, to be honest, and I can feel it, every time I look up at you at the camera, it goes a little bit more wobbly, goes a little bit out of control. Trim. Now I'm on a small board, so I need to have my feet inboard and forwards to stop the board just sinking and stopping. But I've got my weight predominantly on my leading foot and the outside of my leading foot. So that's the outside of my right foot. Let's just turn you down there. You can see my right foot is engaged in the water. My right, not instep, outstep, is that the right part? Every time I get a little gust, and it's definitely not enough to get me going, but every time I get a little gust, I'm deliberately putting a little bit of weight onto the back foot. And that just pinches me and nibbles me and bites my way upwind that little bit more. And that's a tactical thing, just to bear in mind while I'm talking about trim and foot pressure, is that it's not a straight line I'm sailing in. A bit of wind hits me, maybe I'll try and bear away. It's actually just about enough, but I'll keep explaining while I'm doing this. It's just about enough to keep me going, ish. But it's not a straight line. Even bearing away just there, I didn't lose any ground. Bearing away doesn't necessarily mean going downwind. It just means bearing away from the wind from where you currently are. So instead of being very close to the wind where I'm trying to be now, I was bearing away, ever so slightly, trying to get planing, not enough. Weight on that back foot once again. A couple of guys you see going past me now, in fact I've got their gust too. They're all on 7 and 8 meter sails. I gambled, I went for the small one. Counterbalance is the next element on the formula. And counterbalance involves opposing that rig. If the rig goes back slightly, and that's me steering upwind, that allows me to come forwards just that little bit more. Of course, if I fully went back at the same time as the sail, you'd turn upwind very quickly and probably stop falling in backwards. Here's a little gust. I'm bearing away, I'm still actually going upwind. Reset the vision, playing with that trim, and you'll notice the whole time that front arm remained extended, which helped me actually keep the power on. Just while I'm mentioning front arm extended and power, you'll also notice how far back my front hand is. If your front hand comes back, the power is on naturally. As soon as you go forwards, whoa, there it is. You depower, slow down. There's a bit of power. Just because I'm having some fun with this, let's do something else. Whee! So keeping that power on through that front hand to try and nibble my way back upwind. There's the end of the wind. And stance. My stance is straight and fairly upright. I'm not fully on top of the board, so I might get pulled forwards, but I'm very much in a straight position. As soon as I start to flex my elbows and my knees and sit, it creates mast foot pressure, which is a whole nother story. It creates mast foot pressure which doesn't help me. All that's happening is it's pushing the board down into the water. But by extending into a nice straight stance, I can now just about drive the board forwards, and there's a little gust once again that allows me to accelerate. And actually, that run just then, on and off the plane, but I'm right back upwind where I want to be. Let's go around the other side. So I've most definitely made my way back upwind on that long pinching run. Despite the gust being on and off. Yes, I managed to get planing a few times, but I reckon looking back at the beach, probably 500 meters or more, I was almost as far downwind as I can go in the bay here. And I'm now quite happily back up towards the mountain. And hopefully that means I can get a nice run back in towards the beach. I think I'll leave it just there. Thanks again for joining me on what was going to be a disappointing session, but I hope, vision, look for that gust. But I hope you've got some learning points from it anyway, on how to non-planing, nibble and pinch your way back upwind. And even as the gust comes through, not just bear away and lose that ground. I'll see you next time back on the channel. Don't forget to hit me a comment, let me know how you're getting on. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and share it amongst the windsurfing world. Thanks very much.